Hi guys, so today's date is Tuesday the 19th of January 2021 and we are doing our history lesson for today. So our learning objective for today is to explore the different types of Roman houses and what they were made from. So please can you pause the video, write today's date and write today's learning objective, and then we will start the lesson. So, recap, I want you to, as your starter, write 5 interesting facts that you can remember about ancient Rome. So this can be linked to things that they brought to Britain, it can be the names of different buildings that you know, it can be something about slaves, something about food, it can be about Romulus and Remus and their story. Anything you need that you already know, I want you to tell me 5 of those interesting facts. So please pause the video and write those facts down now, and then I will check them over when you send me your work. Okay, so let's get started on Roman houses. So the Romans built lots of cities that were well fortifited within city walls, okay? They also introduced lots of luxuries into civilization, such as public baths, roads and plumbing. So that's something that we've already looked at in school, how they built roads to connect different cities together and how they introduced plumbing and sewage systems, because before the Romans we didn't have any of that. And as a Roman, the type of house you live in depended on if you were rich, poor, if you lived in the town or in the countryside. So if you were in a rural area like the countryside, or if you were in an urban area like a city or a town, okay? So I want you to take notes about the names of the houses and facts about them as I'm going through it, okay? So while I'm reading it, you can jot things down, but then I do want you to pause the video and write down whatever I'm telling you, okay? Take notes about what's important. So the first one is wooden huts. So I want you to write wooden huts and underline it, and then any key information that you think I'm going to say, I want you to explain what it is, write it down, okay? So the poor Romans in the countryside lived in small villages of wooden huts with thatched roofs. So that's what the material is made of on the roof. It's a thatched roof, okay? Each hut is very small. It usually only had one room with a fire in the middle to help warm everything up. The fire would be used for light, because they didn't have lights like we do. It'd be used for heat to keep them warm, and it would be used for cooking. So any cooking that they did, they do on this fire that is in the middle of their house. The floor would have been covered with animal skins, and there would be simple furniture such as benches for beds. So they didn't have a bed, they didn't have a kitchen, they didn't have a couch to sit on like we would at home. They literally had a bench inside the hut, and then they would sleep on that. That would be their bed. So it wasn't very comfortable at all. So pause the video. Anything interesting that you found out from there, I want you to write it down for me. You'll need it at the end. Next one, we've got insulae. So poor Romans in towns and cities lived in insulae. So the last one was if they lived in the countryside. This one is if they live in the city centre. So these were like apartment blocks. They were built out of wood, mud bricks, and then later on they were built out of concrete as well. They were usually 6 to 8 3-storey buildings grouped around a central courtyard. So the courtyard was the bit in the middle where they'd all meet and do, like, they had space to do things, and then it was built around it, okay? So it was 3 stories. What does that mean? What does 3-storey mean? Does it mean it's whole stories? No, 3-storey means it's 3 levels high, okay? So you had the ground floor, the first floor, and the second floor. There was 3 levels, okay? They were very, very poorly built, which means they were badly built. They were often dirty and noisy, so they weren't particularly safe, they weren't particularly nice. But they did have running water, which is something that in the countryside they did not have, okay? So again, pause the video, any interesting facts, I want you to write them down. Next one, Adomus. So Adomus was a type of house in the city, so this is city one again, in which a Roman would have lived, a rich Roman, okay? So Adomus was a very grand single-storey building. So it's single-storey, it's only got 1 floor. Often with marble pillars. Now remember when we've done our science and we've looked at rocks, we've spoken about marble and how it's used because it's beautiful and it looks really nice. It's quite expensive. So if they had marble pillars, then they must have had lots of money. It had statues, and it has mosaics on the walls and on the floors, okay? They would have had multiple rooms, including bedrooms, a dining room, a kitchen, a courtyard, gardens, and places to relax and entertain guests. So obviously compared to the last one, it's a big, big difference. It's a very, very nice building to live in because it's what rich Romans lived in the city, okay? So again, pause the video, jot down anything that you think is important. Next one, we've got a villa. So a Roman villa was a luxurious estate for the rich Romans in the countryside. So this is for the rich in the countryside. So the last one is the rich in the city, and this is for the rich in the countryside. So they were much larger and much more comfortable than Adomus, which is the one we've just looked at. And they even had more rooms, including servants' quarters and exercise rooms. So it's like they had a home gym. Some villas even had underfloor heating, so when it was cold, the heating was underneath the floor, which meant that it would rise up and it would get nice and warm inside the building. A hypocaust was a system which pumped hot air from a fire around a system of tunnels underneath the villa's main floor. So that is how it's heated underneath the floor, okay? So that one was a lovely one. It's for the really rich Romans in the countryside. Okay, so which Roman house would you have liked to live in and why? Okay, so I want you to answer in as much detail as you can. I want you to compare the different types of buildings. I don't want you to just say, I want to live in Adomus. I want you to tell me why you want to live there. I want you to tell me why you don't want to live in one of the wooden huts, for example. I want you to explain your answers in as much detail as you can, okay? So I would really like to live in this place because it's got this, 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 and this. Because I would not like to live in this place because it's got this, 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 and this, okay? So I want you to compare at least 2. You can compare all of them if you want to, but I want you to compare at least 2 of them. And then that's it for your lesson. That is all I need you to do today. So make sure you jot down any notes that I've been saying, and then I want you to explain which one you would prefer to live in and why. I hope you all have a lovely day, and I will see you very soon. Bye.